Hi, Andrew from SACS, and welcome to video number 7 in our 11 video sequence on cognitive ability or personal intelligence. This one is all about the relationship between cognitive ability and work performance, but also behaviour at work. Now, this is an updated version of a very famous meta-analysis. On the left-hand side, you see characteristics that have been used to predict job performance before you hire people. And then a year down the track, you come back and you get measures of success and failure at work. And so these things, at the top you see cognitive ability and integrity, at the bottom you see age, and you'll notice that on the right-hand column, these validities are correlation coefficients. The higher the correlation coefficient, the stronger relationship between what is being measured and job performance. So you see cognitive ability and integrity tests in combination give you a correlation of 0.65 in terms of job performance. Now, the interesting thing about this is that you look at the things that have been color-coded here, the things that are in green. These are all some form of psych test. And that's why people psych test in predicting job performance, because it's a far better predictor of job performance than things like interviews. Interviews, of course, are impressionistic, and there are better interviews and worse interviews, but no matter how you cut the cake, if you're using psych testing, you're going to get a better outcome in terms of people coming up to speed quickly and performing in their job, but also avoidance of a bunch of negatives. Now, you'll notice that at the top of this league ladder, you see cognitive ability is in the first 3 of the most accurate measures. So cognitive ability and integrity, cognitive ability in structured interviews, cognitive ability in work sample, and cognitive ability by itself, they're all in the top 5, but the top 3 are the combination of cognitive ability and other components. So what does this mean? It means that there's a strong relationship between cognitive ability and work performance, and this has been demonstrated for decades. Now, senior jobs, it's pronounced, but even in relatively less senior job, let's say administrative tasks, there is a relationship between cognitive ability and performance. Now, you may not want somebody who's doing a basic administrative task to be a genius because they'll get bored and leave that job, but there still is a relationship. It's a very enduring relationship. So why does cognitive ability work so well in predicting job performance? Well, really, there are a number of reasons. We said you get 25% of the variance in job performance from cognitive ability, but really there are 4 reasons that drive good quality performance at work. And the first is speed. People who are smarter do stuff more quickly. Problem-solving power. People with high cognitive ability solve problems more effectively. Trainability. Trainability is the characteristic of being able to learn new things. High levels of cognitive ability cause people to be able to learn new things. And finally, less bad behaviours. There's a strong correlation between good behaviours and cognitive ability. The lower the level of cognitive ability, the higher the likelihood that somebody will demonstrate bad behaviours. Why? Well, it may well be to do with the relationship between self-regulation and cognitive ability. Lower IQ means less self-regulation and maybe therefore more tendency, if something upsets you, to behave in a less than optimal fashion. We also know that cognitive ability predicts the likelihood of assuming leadership roles. In general, human beings are comfortable to report to people who they think are at least as smart as they are, preferably smarter than they are. They tend to be less comfortable if they think that somebody's not as smart as they are, and it can lead to difficulties in relationships. Finally, integrity. Integrity is about counterproductive work behaviours, and there are 2 forms of counterproductive work behaviours, interpersonal or organisational. And interpersonal counterproductive work behaviours are where people are doing bad things to their customers or to their colleagues or to their stakeholders. Organisational counterproductive work behaviours is where people are doing bad things to the organisation. So that could be theft, it could be ignoring policies, it could be saying bad things about the organisation. Those are organisational counterproductive work behaviours. And what we know is that integrity tests are surprisingly predictive of job performance, but we also know that counterproductive work behaviours do correlate with cognitive ability. So that's about work performance and behaviour. So let's talk about forms of cognitive ability and IQ test. If you're curious to understand how this stuff is measured, join us for the next video in the sequence by clicking on the link near this video.